letting it take as long as it needs to doesn't mean it takes 10 times longer. What I find is a lot of reps jump into presentation too quickly, where it's literally just, it might just be another 15-minute call. And what I've also learned is that if discovery is really moving well and they're engaged in the conversation, and new reps, this is part of understanding the nuance of the sales process, but like, you can tell when a customer's really engaged. And if they're engaged in a great conversation, they're going to be okay booking another 15-minute conversation tomorrow or the next day so that you can go back, take the necessary time, put together a proper proposal or recommendation for them, and then give it to them at a time rather than cramming it in, right? And again, I think that's the thing that gets skipped. We're trying to make a repeatable process. We're trying to close a lot of deals, and you guys have a big number to hit this year. So we've got to be very manufacturer-like, and we have a meeting we schedule a meeting. There's 15 minutes of initial qualification and discovery. We're going to book another 30-minute call, and by the end of that 30 minutes, the last 10 are going to be me making a recommendation or pitching. And it doesn't have to be that way. And what you'll also find is when you let the process play out to what it should be, so you can cover all those elements and let them take as long as they need to take, you'll find ways to shorten it once you understand it, right? So learn the right way and then make it faster versus learning how to be fast right away, okay? And it really doesn't take that long. And let's be on the same page that this is a prospect worth pursuing. The details will come when they need to. You obviously want to move that pretty quickly, but you don't have to make the prospect feel like they're being forced, and you don't need to feel like you're forcing anything. I will tell you that a couple of years ago, I used to do 3-hour-long discovery meetings with my prospects first. And I can tell you now that it's about 1, sometimes 1.5. Because as I let my own process breathe, then I learn for ways to shorten it, or I look for ways and learn ways to shorten it a little bit. So I think it's part of a rep's development to have a little bit less velocity in their pipeline early on, just to make sure that they hit those necessary steps, understanding that the goal is to have a little more velocity once you get the hang of it. But I mean, think about it. I think everybody on this call knows how to drive. How comfortable were you going 90 miles? Well, maybe we shouldn't say that. How comfortable were you going 75 miles an hour on the freeway the very first time? You were probably white knuckling the wheels at 10 and 2, shaking a little bit at 54, right? Because it's a little scary, but then you get comfortable and then it becomes a little easier. Then you're doing 80 and you don't realize it and you look down and you're like, oh, I should probably slow down.